Hey guys, welcome back to Orms TV. Today we are going to discuss all things binoculars. And well, because I don't know all that much about binoculars, I brought Eric along here.
Hi.
He is our resident binocular expert and he's going to run us through these things, what they do, how they work, what all the funny writing on them means. But before we dive into that, please don't forget to like and subscribe down below and smash that bell icon so you get notified of all our latest content. Let's dive in. Okay, so let's kick it off literally with the easiest question here. What do binoculars actually do?
Binoculars are purely just designed to magnify, make larger, or make appear closer, whatever it is that you're looking at. So you can appreciate it a little bit more. It could be nature, wildlife, birds, or sports. Whatever it is, just brings it closer.
Okay, so if I pick up this pair of binoculars here, this is a Nikon Monarch 7. They seem quite nice. There's a lot of numbers on here. So this one specifically is a 8x42 and it has a designation of 8 degrees on here. You want to just run us through what that's all about?
Sure thing, yeah. It's a good question because the numbers do relate to how much you can see or how much you can magnify the subject. To start with the first number, your 8 times or 10 times in some binoculars relates to how big you magnify your subject or how much larger you make it seem. So if what you see with your naked eye is 1 times, with a binocular that's 8 times, you're making the subject appear 8 times closer.
Okay, so what does the second number, in this case the 42, refer to?
Okay, the 42 relates to the objective lens or the front lens. And that number does have to do a lot with the size of the binocular.
Okay.
So 42 essentially just means that the diameter from here to here is 42 millimeters.
Okay.
So if you have a 50 millimeter diameter, you've got a much bigger glass or a much bigger binocular also. That number has a lot to do with how much light you're letting into your eyes.
Okay.
So like a window. With a smaller window, you let in less light. With a bigger window, you let in more light.
Okay.
And the last number, your 8 degrees. And that is essentially just your angle of view. So how much you see from side to side.
Okay.
So if this was your 90 degrees, your 8 degrees will be that, and that's how much you see from side to side. So on this Monarch 7, the 8 degrees basically is its unique feature. Okay. It's got the widest field of view. So the higher the degrees, the wider your field of view. So that's one of the unique features on this one. Okay,
so if we relate it, let me pick up here. So this one. So this is a Nikon ProStaff 7S.
That's right.
It's a 10x42.
Yeah.
And yeah, it only has a 6.2 degree angle of view.
That's right. So you won't see as much on the sides with that one as you would with the Monarch 7.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, that makes good sense. Okay, so now that we've run through how binoculars work, what all the numbers mean, all of that good stuff, what I really want to get into a little bit is just how do I choose the correct binoculars for the given application.
Yeah.
So say, for example, I want to do bird watching or take them to sport events, that kind of thing. Like what type of binocular should I be looking at?
That's a really good question because you need to know what you're looking at before you choose a pair. I would normally recommend the best recommended pair to use is the 8 times or the lower magnification.
Okay.
Purely because it keeps, for 2 reasons. It keeps more in the frame, slightly wider field of view, and also because it's easier and steady to hold. So if you're tracking a moving subject, as in a sport car or a bird, it's not too sensitive to movement. You're not exaggerating your movement as you move.
Okay, so I mean, obviously, like you're talking about maybe like using a 10 by that kind of thing for that exaggerated movement. But now, if I want to go to, say I want to do a game viewing, or I'm down by the harbor or something like that, and I want to watch ships come in, would that be where I'd go for like a 10 by?
100%. There, you're looking at things that are slow moving. You're not moving too rapidly, so a 10 times will be perfectly fine.
Okay, and then I know you get like bigger binoculars. I mean, bigger than anything we have here. So like you get 16 bys and 20 times and that kind of thing. Where would I be using that sort of pair?
That sort of pair of binocular, anything bigger than your 10 times, you're going to be using to magnify really in a large way, like looking at the stars at night.
Okay.
And usually those would have a very big front, which basically means that it's a bigger pair and you're going to have difficulty holding it and keeping it steady. And it's recommended that when you use that sort of binocular, you use a tripod so you can keep it steady and so you don't touch the binocular other than just fine-tuning it.
Okay, that makes sense. Thank you. Okay, Eric, so is there anything else that I need to know when choosing like my first pair of binoculars?
Yeah, sure, there is definitely. Often when we get clients in our shop coming to test drive binoculars, sort of get a feel of what they're looking to look for. We often find that we always have clients struggling how to fine-tune the binoculars, or how do you focus them, how do you get them sharp.
Okay.
The best way of doing it is always starting from your left-hand side, just like you do when you're reading a book.
Okay.
So in this case, it basically means that opening the front of your left side, and you use your main focusing wheel.
Okay.
ISPA's got a nice and big one, so it makes it very easy to focus. Okay, once you've got that, you can close the one side. Let's close that, and then you open your right side.
Okay.
Okay, and then you focus your right side with the little diopter here on your right-hand side. And once you've got that, you can open both sides and just start fine-tuning your binoculars.
Okay.
That ensures that you get the most clear picture.
Okay, so if I'm just going to ask a question here, what do these do? What's that all about?
Yeah, that's your eye relief. So if you're not wearing glasses, you'd normally just roll them out. What it essentially does is it keeps your eyes at the right distance to ensure that you get the correct amount of light transmission to maintain a really clear picture.
Yeah.
And if you're wearing glasses, you'd have to roll them down because your glasses do sit in that space.
Okay.
So to get a clear view.
Okay, that makes good sense. So the only other question coming from my side here is if I pick up this pair, so this is a Nikon Aculon, and they look completely different to these other binoculars.
They are.
What is that all about?
Look, you get two different types of binoculars, or you might say styles of binoculars. You get Porro prisms. These are the Porro prisms.
Okay.
The lenses are, or your ocular lenses are offset. They're not in a straight line like you have with the roof prisms.
Okay.
The lenses are in a straight line on this one, so you'd find that your roof prisms are slightly more rugged. They can take a beating, whereas the Porro is not as strong.
Okay. Okay, and the roof prism, is that a more modern design? Is it a little bit of a newer layout?
Yes, the roof is a more modern design, and it is the most popular because also it's slightly more compact than the Porros.
Yeah, they're significantly smaller.
Are quite big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so if we look at like the range that we have put out here, so they're all from Nikon, and they sort of cover a bit of a broad spectrum. So I assume that the Aculons, being Porro prisms and being a more basic design, that they sort of sit a little bit more towards the more economical end of the spectrum?
Yes, the Aculons are the more entry-level ones. So you're sort of starting out in your game and you need a pair that you can use just to enjoy your nature a little bit more. Okay. This is the pair to get, and it's really cost-effective.
Okay.
And going up from there, you've got the Pro Stuff range.
Yeah.
Now, the Pro Stuff is the first in the advanced models that have nitrogen gas and that are waterproof, slightly stronger because it's a roof prism, and it's slightly more compact than the Aculon.
Yeah. And
moving up from here, you are improving your clarity or your picture because you've got ED glass here. Okay. And these are waterproof, fog-proof, and you get a much sharper picture. You've got full coatings.
Okay, they're also a little bit more compact.
Yes.
Which is quite nice.
Yes.
Sort of going smaller and smaller, which is quite
nice.
And
the other slight difference is that with the other ones, the eye cups come off and you have to keep them in your pocket somewhere. And with these ones, you sort of hang them in there and, you can't lose them.
Fair enough.
Yeah, and they feel much nicer to hold.
Yeah, they do actually.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So going up from the monoc range, you get the HG range. Now, these are slightly more rugged. They're made out of magnesium alloy, so they're stronger. So if you are an outdoors man, you're pretty rough in your binoculars, these ones can take a beating. And they have everything else that you get in the monoc range, and they're slightly stronger.
Okay, and that sort of sits obviously towards the top end of Nikon's entire spectrum.
That is correct. And using them during the day, you might not see that much of a difference between a Monarch 7 and the HG.
Yeah.
But when the light gets a little bit low, you'd find these are a little bit brighter.
Okay, excellent. Thank you. Well, guys, thank you very much for joining us for that quick look and run through of binoculars. Thanks, Eric.
It's an absolute pleasure.
Always, man. And guys, as always, if there's anything we missed or anything that you would like to know, don't forget to comment down below. We love hearing from you guys, and we'll catch you guys next time. Cheers.
Adios.